Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel and editorial discussion for 9th May 2022. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss an editorial from today's Indian Express which is titled Question of Timing. This editorial talks about the possible reason for why RBI went ahead with increasing the benchmark policy lending rates out of the order, out of the monetary policy committee review meetings. A very interesting editorial. Let us discuss this. And if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. See, RBI holds bi-monthly meetings. Every 2 months, it holds its meeting called as Monetary Policy Committee Review Meetings. This is where it discusses what is the inflation targeting of the country and how it should manage the monetary policy of the country. Now, in the last meeting, which was held in the month of April, RBI said we are not going to hike the policy lending rates. The repo rate will be unchanged at 4%. Cash reserve ratio will be unchanged as well at 4%. And the next meeting was to be held in the month of June again. Now something happened in between April and June, that is in the month of May, and RBI went ahead with increasing the repo rate and increasing the cash reserve ratio rate. But the reality is that these some important parameters which were responsible for inflation, they did not change. The wholesale price index, we have known for more than 12 months that it is beyond beyond two digits. It is at two digits. In fact, we have known all the time that there has been an increased pressure of inflation in USA, Europe. We also know that supply side issues are there because of the higher oil prices, because of the higher mineral oil prices, the food oil, because of other supply side constraints like chip crisis for commodities international market, because of China's COVID, because of Russia Ukraine war. What has changed? The war started in the month of Feb, and China's COVID spike also we had known earlier. So there is something else beyond this that has changed, because of which RBI has increased its the benchmark policy lending rates. Now RBI projects every time it holds its meeting, it says we think that the inflation towards the end of the year will be such and such. So the last meeting it held, it said that the end of this fiscal year inflation will be at 5%, and they said we will not increase the benchmark rates. All right, but when they increase so suddenly the benchmark rates, the market is not happy, it is shocked. The shock is because there is possibly a reason, possibly RBI thinks that the inflation forecasting has increased. RBI might have thought that inflation might increase dramatically, or there could be a reason that RBI feels that the market is not in its own control. So let us control the market right now. This could be the factors, but the reality is RBI has not declared what is the reason why it increased these rates. RBI, some of the newspaper reports say, sources say that RBI also asked the government, let us control the inflation. You cut down on some of the excise duty on petroleum products, and it also asked the state government, please cut down on some of the VAT that you impose on petroleum, and we will be able to curb the supply side prices. But the state government and the central government were not interested, because of course they need revenue for survival of the government. So RBI went ahead with with the increase in the policy rates. Now see on the right side in this image, you'd see whenever there is a hike in the taxation, whenever there is high in the rise of the crude oil prices, that is the time when you see there'd be higher inflation. So these are COVID times. The prices of oil were also low and inflation was also low. So whenever there's a high price rise in oil, inflation is also there. So RBI had asked government did not come to rescue, so RBI went ahead. Noteworthy, in the month of March we saw a record 10 rupee rise in petrol products, both petrol and diesel, within almost within a fortnight. Now when RBI increases its rates, there'll be high borrowing cost, the cost of production will rise, growth will be slow. Similarly for people, if you want to take loan will be costlier and demand will be less. See, there's something very important to note, that is that there is something called as demand side inflation and there is something called as supply side inflation. India is primarily going through supply side inflation, supply side prices. Demand side, people are not demanding products right now, but whatever products are available, for that also supply side constraint is there in the country. This is a very important concern, because if there is no demand, there will be stagnation in the economy, and if there is a supply side inflation, this will lead to inflation. So stagflation, this is what many experts are saying we are going through. So RBI says we will have to do something. See, this is not the primary measure, that this is not how we can actually control the inflation in products in the market by increasing the lending rates. We cannot. But this is what RBI had to resort to, and it has done it after more than 2 years. Have a look. It had been only cutting the repo rate so that it could increase the rigor in the market because of slowdown 2018-19. Now, this is the reason. The one of the reasons which has been suggested in this editorial is exchange rate. See, USA also has announced, USA central bank says that we also will now have fiscal consolidation. We will ensure that the excess money that is present, excess dollar in the market, we will absorb it back in the economy. So 0.5% they will absorb back the money that is present in the market by raising the rates by 0.5% central bank rate in America. Now, if the rates in America rise, that means availability of dollars in the market will be low. If the availability of dollar in the market will be low, the availability of rupee will be high. That means there'll be depreciation of Indian rupee, and this is what we cannot afford, because the rupee has already slid to around 76.5 rupee 76.5 rupee for $1, and further sliding of rupee will be not very good for the market. See, let's understand how. See, the first and foremost important thing is that this is not the legal mandate of RBI. RBI does not have to maintain the exchange rate. RBI has to only maintain the inflation level. So this is one question on RBI. But RBI has still possibly done this to have the exchange rate in control. Let's see how. See, the forex, RBI itself has said in April, the foreign exchange reserves at the end of the year 2021-22 were $607 billion. And in May, it says that forex have reduced. Foreign exchange reserves with RBI have reduced. Why have they reduced? That means they have sold this in the market. They have sold dollars in the market, and they have taken the rupee back with themselves. So it not only controls inflation in India, it also manages the international exchange rate. Right? I hope that you understand this. This is a very important concept, because questions in pre-exam come directly from these kind of concepts. Right? So while this depreciation happens, whenever the Indian rupee depreciates, it is easier to export items. So we will be able to export more. That is happening in the country, 400 billion plus dollar of export. But then, whenever we are depreciating the money, since we are an import driven economy, because of adverse terms of trade, just like we import a lot of oil, our current account deficit also increases further. Why? Because you see, more than 600 billion dollars of import and 400 billion dollars of export. So the current account deficit has also risen in the country. That is the problem in our country, right? Because we are an import driven country, trade shocks of oil imports, right? That is the problem. But even then, there are other products, and for that there'll be easier export. So export will be good, right? And RBI needs to have this balance, otherwise the rupee will depreciate too much. And it is in today's news only that the rupee has hit all-time low of 77.43 rupees. So this means, though the exports will be cheaper, imports will be very costly for us. And you will see how our imports prices rise. Now, what is the reason for this? There are quite a few reasons. One is the strong dollar. When American dollars is getting away from the market, it is getting stored in the US Federal Reserve. This is one reason. See, many of the Asian countries are developing countries, and money from Europe, money from America pours in here, and all the money is going out, going back. FII outflows back. This is another reason, right? And then rebound in oil prices. When the oil prices rise, the we pay in dollar. Dollar will be further less with us. Rupee will be in further excess. So another reason for depreciation. Ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis, and then we don't find the products. So all these lead to the depreciation in rupee, and this is also a cause of concern, for which the RBI said we will also suck the rupee out of the market. We will suck the rupee. The dollars are less. We will also suck the rupee out of the market, so balance could be maintained. This is one of the reasons. All right, although not a part of RBI's mandate. Imagine this. But ठीक है, unless and until it is hurting everybody, it's fine. It's good for the economy, right? So this is the update from this editorial right now. A quick question to you people. Mention 5 reasons that could have led to interest rate hike by RBI. This is a good question for you to exercise your brain. Now, if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. And if you've got any questions, put it down in the comment section and we will ensure to get back to you. Thank you for watching.